Good luck, everyone.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for attending this European Film Factor webinar. Today, we're going to have a conversation and an interesting discussion about film literacy through the movie La Strada. And Rafal Mazur, our European Film Factor focus teacher, is going to give us a step-by-step guide of classrooms activities based on this movie. So my name is Tania Sanchez, and I am part of the European SchoolNet team working on the European Film Factory. So here is a bit of the agenda of what we're going to see today in this 1 hour session. But before going through the agenda, I would like to thank everyone for being here, and I would also like to thank the speakers today. We're having with us Lucie Garin from the Institut Francaise, and we're also having with us Rafal Mazur, the focus teacher that is going to guide you through how to implement the activities based on the film La Strada in your classroom. So and also last but not least, Ina, who is also with us behind the scenes, making sure everything works correctly and all the technicals are on point. So also from European SchoolNet and the EFF team. So first of all, I'm gonna give an introduction of what the European Film Factory is. Lucie Guérin is going to speak about the tools and the platform, and Rafal is going to show you how to implement the activities in your classroom, as I said. So briefly introducing the platform and what we have done so far in the European Film Factory project is that we have developed an online platform for film education, which has a free access to 10 feature films and 14 short films right now in our catalog. It's accessible to all Creative Europe media countries, so all the European Union countries plus a list of additional countries which you can check in our platform or in the European Commission's website. And this platform is focused on and is targeting teachers of secondary education and students from 11 to 18 years old. There are activities and movies dedicated to this wider range of age. So you will find movies that will be more suitable for 11, 12, and then another movies that will be more suitable for youngsters from 16 to 18. And moreover, one of the things is that these educational kits are targeted to try to introduce film literacy in our schools, in the European schools, but it also contains activities that can be adapted and implemented in different subjects around the European curriculum, such as history or physics or language learning. So even though our main objective is to promote film literacy can also be used in many other subjects. It contains many innovative tools like tools to create mind maps or to cut extracts of the movie and use these extras to teach your students about music, color, etc. Right now, the platform is in 8 languages. And for example, those languages are English, French, German, Spanish, Romanian, Italian, Greek, and Polish. And the project European Film Factory has been developed and is being currently run by a consortium of 3 partners: European SchoolNet, Institut Francaise, and Arte. Right now, we're trying to expand our catalog and to include more activities and to include more movies. So I would highly recommend you to stay tuned to our website, to our social media channels, and to our platform. And please register if you haven't yet. And if you have any kind of issues, please send us an email and we will take care of it. And right now, I would like to give the floor to Lucie, who's going to talk about the platform and the tools as mentioned before. Thank you very much. And Lucie, you have the floor.
Hello everyone, so my name is Lucie Guérin. I'm one of the European Film Factory coordinator at the Institut Français, which is the lead partner of European Film Factory, and I will show you how the platform functions. So I'm sharing my screen. I hope everything is working fine, so let me know if it's not the case. So we are here on the landing page of European Film Factory. It's very easy to access. You have to enter europeanfilmfactory.eu as the URL. And so European Film Factory, as Tanya said, is available in 8 languages, and you can select the languages here, and everything will be translated in those languages. So I stay in English, our webinar is in English. So on this landing page, you have general information about the project and you have access to the registration. It's a free registration and there is 2 entries. You can register as a teacher and there is also a student registration form. So I will show you later on how having your student register on the platform and have them have their personal accounts. But for teacher, it's very easy to do. You just have a form to fill with a couple of information. So name, email, you pick up a pseudo for European Film Factory, passwords. And in the next step, you will be asked which subject you teach, the age of your students, and the name and location of your school. Once you validated your registration, it will be validated by our team and you will be able to log in on the platform, which I am going to do right now. So with my username or email address and password. So we are here on the homepage for teacher on the connected platform. First, you will have a small editor that we update regularly with information about the new addition or anything we want to highlight. Here, it's about how to create a class on European Film Factory, and I will show it to you right away as it is an important element of the platform. So if you go here, you will have different links and you go on My Classes, where you will have all the classes you have listed. You can create a new class, you just click on it, enter a name of a class like EFF, for example, and your created class appear here and you have a code that has been generated. You have to give this code to your students, and when they go on the registration page for students, they are asked to give this code, which we will link them directly to your class and your account. And then they will be asked to give their name and date of birth, which are the only information we collect from them. Date of birth is because of film classification. Not all films are accessible from 11 years old, so students will have only access to film for their age. So I go back on the home page to show you what is more. So you have the film catalog with all the films that are available with European Film Factory. So it's a feature film and short film. We have 2 short film programs. When you pass on the film poster, you have information about the film, like important information. Below the film catalog, you will have an educational section where you can download all the educational kits at once if you wish to. And you will also find video tutorials which give you tips on how to use the platform and its different tools. The videos are in English and they are subtitled in the 8 languages of the project. Below that, you will find the community creations. As European Film Factory is meant to be a collaborative platform, here you will find the extract and the mind maps that have been created by other teachers on European Film Factory, and you can access them, you can use them for your own class or your own teaching. And so you can scroll them like this. And I will show you how to create extract and MyMat after that. So I will now go on a film page. To do that, I click on the film poster I'm interested in too. So it's La Strada, as it is the film we are studying today. So every film page are the same. I mean, the structure is the same. So you will find general information. You will have access to the film trailer that you can watch. You have the synopsis. You have general themes that the film addressed and the film classification. The film classification depends on which country you are logging in, as we base it on the official classification per country. So as I am in France, it's accessible from 11 years old. It means that only students from 11 years old can watch the film from their personal accounts. Below that, you will have a data sheet with general information about the film, like the credits, etc. You will also have the most important awards the film received. And then you access the educational section with a brief summary of what you will find in the educational kits. And then you have two downloadable resources. One is the media kit, which consists of pictures, posters, trailer of the film that you can download in a zip file, and you can use in your class. You can share it with your students, and etc. The other one is the educational kit that has been created by our focus group of teachers, and it is divided in 3 parts. It's a PDF you can download, and it's of course available in the 8 languages. So the 3 parts are general information about the film analysis, which includes film context, historical context, expressive means, and recognition, and several activities, step-by-step activities to work on the film with your students. I will not take too much time on this, as it will be presented by Rafal Mazur after my presentation, who is one of the teachers of our European Film Factory focus group. So I go back on the film page, and on the top of it you have 4 buttons. The first one enables you to watch the film in streaming. So the film starts now, and you can select subtitles in which you want to watch the film, or any. You can pick also non-subtitle if you want to watch it without it. The film can also be downloaded on a secure player. It enables you to watch the film or screen the film without internet, which can be useful for some class settings. You can also share the film with your classes or with one or several of your students as a homework, for example, to ask them to watch the film at home. And finally, one important element of our platform is interactive tool that has been developed by Arte Education. And we have 2 tools, one's to create extract and one's to create mind map. I will show you now how to create an extract. It's very easy to do. It's a 4-step process. So first you have to select which scene of the film you want to extract. For that you use the little bracket here, or you can also enter here the time code if you know them directly. The extract must be 5 minutes maximum for a copyright issue. You can preview the extract you select here, like this. My computer is a bit slow, so I really select it completely randomly. And so I take the end of the film, and then you access the annotation part, where you can annotate your extract with text, image, or sound. It's quite simple to do. For example, I will write the end of La Strada. So you can edit the text, put it bigger, change the color, and you decide how long you want it to appear. And which position you want it to have on the screen, the color you can change, and you go say, and you see the little pointer here. You can put it wherever you want on your extract. You can do the same with image. You upload an image and you can put it wherever you want and for how long you want on the film extract. And you can do it with sound, which is the part I prefer actually. So you can upload an audio file. For example, you want to change the soundtrack of the film. You can upload a new music and you can remove the actual sound and put the new music on, or you can superpose the two sounds and choose the level of sound you want to have. And you can also record yourself with a microphone or ask your student to do it as an activity. For example, it can be, you can ask them to redub a scene, which can be fun to do. So the next part, when you are done with annotation, is the description part. So you are asked to put a title for the extract, a description, to pick up a subject related to the extract, age of student to which it is addressed, and general theme of the extract. I put circus. Then you continue. And here you're on the publication part. You can choose either to publish your extract as public. It means that it will be visible by all teachers on your Open Film Factory, or you can choose to have it public only for yourself. You can also then share this extract with your class or with some students of your class. And you can allow your students to duplicate the extract. It means that they will be able to duplicate the extract, modify it, and for example, send it back to you with their annotation. And then you save the extract. So this is and you can find all your extract here on the My Extracts page. So the second tool on the platform I want to show you is the mind map. So a mind map allows you to gather internal and external information, and you have to start from one film of the platform. So here I started from La Strada. So the mind map consists of several nodes you add like this, and you connect together as you connect resources together. It can be internal resources, so add a node with internal resources, like for example, another film of the platform. I will add the 400 blows, or you can add an extract you created on the platform. For example, it's the one I created earlier. But you can also add external resources as Wikipedia, for example, that is directly accessible from here. So I will put Fellini here. And then you connect the link together. So I will link La Strada with the end of La Strada, the extract. So you just have to click and link to another node. And you can move the nodes, you can change the color, and you can edit with external resources. So here you enter the title, description, and here you can add an URL with any internet pages you want to refer. And you can add also a picture if you want to have this picture changed. So it gives you a lot of opportunities. And one of my advice is when you create the mind map is to do it full screen because it's much easier to work around. And then the second steps to create are the same as on the extract. It's about the description, and then you decide if you want to share it publicly or only for you and your students. I will just show you one mind map we did, which compare the end of the 400 blows and the end of La Strada, which both end up on with the main character on a beach. And so you can see the possibility we have with the mind map, connected with some extract and some external resources like Wikipedia. So here are the main tools and how European Film Factory works. So if you have any question, do not hesitate to ask in the chat. We will answer them afterwards. I will now give the floor to Rafal Mazur, who will present you how he implemented some activities about La Strada in his class. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Lucy. Okay, I'm gonna try to share my documents. Please give me a second. Okay. I hope you see it. Okay, so my name is Rafal Mazur, and I'm really honored to be here and to co-run this workshop. And from my side, I will try to tell you how I implemented classroom activities based on movie La Strada. Okay, so I think we can start. So as Lucy said, the most important part for a teacher is the educational kit, which you can find on the bottom of the part reserved for La Strada. In there, you can find a PDF document which you can download it, and it's, as Lucy said, it's divided into 3 segments: in general information, film analysis, and classroom activities. And to be honest, I really recommend to read general information and film analysis before start classroom activities, because there's a lot of interesting information and they can be really helpful during implementation. Whenever I decide to use a movie, I pick classroom activities, and before I implement, I always read general information and film analysis. You can find there everything because it's prepared by specialists, and as well, it's prepared by teachers, so they know what to mark. They know what to use in classroom activities. And so, but today we're going to focus about learning scenarios. Those are just the course, not just learning scenarios, some ideas which you can use as a base to your classes. And in this part, you can find classroom activities such as alphabet, game, and poster, framing and characters development, the sea and other film landscapes, Gelsomina's face, what is leitmotif, objects provide light and shadow, sounds of the film, story development, and time construction. I decided to implement the sea and other film landscapes and Gelsomina's face because I'm a literature teacher and those are connected with my curriculum. Those both are using symbols, and I really like to have a class about symbols because my students love to talk. Okay, so let's start. So the first activity is called the sea and the other film landscapes. And as teachers, we know that the crucial part of on every class is to warm our students up. So the warm up is a really important part of our activity. So before I focus on a movie, I try to underline the main subject that we're going to talk about. So I divided my students into 5 groups, and my students needed to create portraits of a character based on a picture, and I've taken those pictures from website pixel.com. So my students came up with such ideas. On the first picture, you can find peaceful sea. So my student said that maybe it's a story about men who decided to start a new chapter in his life. He's really he loves the nature, and he decided that he don't wanna he achieved what he wanted to achieve, and right now he's just resting, and he's really happy. On the second picture, there is as well very pleasant landscape, and my student came up with a conclusion that this is the symbol of a woman who decided to quit a job in a corporation, and she decided not to work any longer in the way she did. And she decided to do something new in her life. She said that she was exhausted in her previous life, so I think it can be a story about a teacher as well. Okay, in a third picture, you can see a mysterious forest. So my students came up with a conclusion that it's some kind of mystery, maybe a murder, and they said that the main character is it's a couple who's hiding in a forest, and they have a secret. And the danger is somewhere between forests. The fourth picture, they connected with the Forrest Gump, but it's not but it's not used in that movie. But they said this is an interesting background landscape, because there is a combination of mountains and a road. The road is something new, it's an opening, and the mountains is like a barrier, and it's a symbol of isolation. So it can be a symbol of a person who just need a rest, and just to figure out what to do in his life. And the last picture, they said it's full of ideas, because it can be about solidarity, about loneliness, about work, about friendship, etc., etc., because it's a big city, so everything is possible in there. So what was the purpose of that activity? The main purpose was to underline that the landscape, it's not just the background, but it gives a million extra information, and it can help to understand motives and emotions of main characters. So I just used that activity to mark that today we're going to talk about landscapes, and not just backgrounds. Okay, let's go to step number 2. This part of this activity based on a movie, and I decided to continue working into groups, and students need to find the story behind the picture. And you, of course, have 2 options. If your students are advanced, you can tell them to pick those pictures by themselves. If your students are not so advanced, you can do it by yourself. I did it by myself. So I found those pictures which which were for me very important for the whole plot. So the first picture is with a peaceful sea. Gelsomina is going back home, and she hears her siblings calling her. In few seconds, she's gonna meet Zampano, and her life is gonna change. So the landscape right now, it's peaceful, but it's a symbol of her life, and something is gonna change. The second picture is taken in the middle of nowhere, because the landscape is flat, nothing is there. But I think it's connected with Gelsomina's feelings, because as you can see, she's bent and she looks on the ground. So it's a symbol of her sadness. And the background, so nothing in there, to be honest, it's connected with the way she feels. And the next picture is when Gelsomina sits back on the road, and it's a combination of 2 emotions, because she feels free, because she ran away from Zampano, but at the same time she doesn't know what to do. She doesn't know what to do. And suddenly she sees musicians, and she decides to go with them. So the back of the road is the symbol of just like a gap in a trip. And the fourth picture is taken after accident with a fool. I'm calling it accident because I don't want to tell you everything about the story if you haven't watched it yet. So the landscape is kind of dead. Nothing is growing there. There's no leaves. It's just the mountains and old trees, and it's taken through winter. in winter. Sorry. And the last picture is when Gelsomina is lying outside the ruins. So I think it's very symbolic because there is you can see ruins, you can see mountains, and it's all taken in winter. So the step 2 is just the analyze of those pictures, and just to student needs to describe what they see. On step 3, they need to analyze the situation, a kind of a landscape, characters, emotion state they are in, part of a story, and students try to connect the situations, emotions with the landscape and the story. And of course, you are teachers, so you're going to ask a million extra questions. So you can ask questions, do the landscapes underline characters' feelings? What is the role of the landscape? It's, of course, up to you, and it depends on what you want from your students and what is your main purpose of your class. Okay, so as a step 4, I came up with 2 ideas. The first idea is a discussion about a symbol of a road. We all know that La Strada means road, so I think it's crucial to interpret the title. And those characters are moving all the time, they're changing, they're nomads. So I think it's important to talk about that because landscapes change every time. So it's important to talk about that and why they want to move, why they don't want to stay in one place for a long time. So it can be a discussion, or it can be a title for a movie, for a recording. And the second idea is it can be a discussion as well, or it can be a title for essay. And I picked Fool's Words. Today I'm here, tomorrow I'll be elsewhere. The shorter I stay, the better it is. I tire of people quickly. I decide when I leave, this is how I am. So, so we can take those words and use it as a title, and we can create a movie or a short movie. Of course, we can build a discussion. We can do wherever we want because it's connected with the landscapes. It's connected with the moving, and it's connected with the road and with being nomad. So this is the first activity. And if you have any questions at any stage, don't hesitate to ask or write in the chat. And I'm going to go to activity number 2. So I decided to implement Gelsomina's face because I'm pretty afraid of masks, especially of clowns. So I decided I need to do something with it finally. And so I decided to talk about that masks. And as I said, the most important part is a warm-up. So I decided to talk about mask in a culture. Of course, it's up to you. If you teach literature, you can use masks important in books, or if you teach other subjects, you can find something connected with your curriculum. I decided that I'm gonna find famous masks and connect it with movies, and I decided that I'm gonna build a quiz. If you're going to start with Kahoot quiz or other quiz, you need to prepare some time for celebration and for cheering groups. But after that, it's a good start because thanks to that, you can catch their students' attention. And my students needed to recognize famous masks in movies. And after that, we start a discussion about the meaning of a mask on the history of using it. Okay, so the warm-up the warm-up was about mask in general. So step 2 is about movie. Students divided into groups search for a smiley and set faces of Gelsomina. They can do it by themselves or with the help of a teacher. Smiley and set faces of Gelsomina appeared next to each other in the same situation, so students try to explain the reason for that. And as I said before, you can pick those pictures by yourselves, or you can tell your advanced students to do that. I decided to do it by myself, and my students are not so advanced, so I decided to help them with that. So first group has to describe those pictures. Those pictures are connected and are taken next to each other, and where they were taken in a moment when Gelsomina meets for the first time Zampano. So she was sad at the beginning, and a few seconds later she was laughing or smiling. And smiling is, I think it's the better word to express her feeling. And students need to come up with the explanation why she moved from sadness to laugh or to smile. Okay, the second group has to understand the feeling of Gelsomina when she performs for the first time. Maybe not performs, but when she figure out that she's going to be an artist soon. And the first picture is that on my right side. And Gelsomina tries for the first time her clothes on. And those clothes are artistic ones. So she is really happy. She looks at the hat and she smiles. And the second picture is taken a few seconds later when she was beaten by Zampano, and she's performing, but the performance it's not so it is not giving her happiness. Okay, so the third group has to work on a picture which is two pictures, and they are really important for the whole plot, because Zampano forced Gelsomina to spend the night with him, and when she wakes up, she looks at him and she was really sad. But a few seconds later, she smiled, and that's pretty interesting why she did that and what's in her mind. So students need to come up with the results, what's going on with Gelsomina. And the group four needs to focus on her first performance when she was really focused. And she was really scared at the beginning, and after that she was really happy because everyone was cheering and everyone was clapping for her. So I think that two emotions, and it was like from her sadness to her smile, it wasn't a long time. So it's really important to just analyze why was that. Okay, and the group 5 needs to analyze the situation. I think this is the one of the saddest part of the movie, because Gelsomina went to the restaurant for the first time, and she was smiling all the time. She was really happy being there. She laughs at every joke, and few minutes later she was abandoned by Zampano, and she was forced to spend the night on the pavement. And in here she waits for Zampano to take her back. So I think it's crucial for the whole plot to understand the movie and this part of the movie, and to understand that two pictures. And so the first activity in step 2 is just to analyze those pictures and to talk about them, and try to put in a plot where was it taken, for example. And the step 3, it's just a discussion. Students present their work and start discussion about two faces but million emotions behind of Gelsomina, because we all know that Gelsomina she's not a very talkative person, and the crucial part of the discussion is try to understand why she decided not to talk, why she decides to use her face to express her emotions. So the students need to talk about her two faces, and they try to understand what does she feel at the moment. And after that, there is a step 4, It's a summary, kind of. Students still working in the groups try to pick 2 pictures of Gelsomina's face, one sad and one smiley, and try to write her thoughts. They can write her thoughts, or they can record, and after that they can record it, and they can just put her thoughts into a movie. Lucy already told you how to do that, so you can record it and you can play it one more time, the movie, with your with words written by your students. And your students can use those pictures from previous activities, but they can also find another ones, because I just took 5 moments, but there's a lot more, much more than 5 when the smiley face is next to a sad face. Okay, so I think that's all. If you have any questions, I don't hesitate to ask me, and I will gladly answer.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Rafal, for this insightful presentation, and well, thank you also, Lucy.
Welcome.
For your presentation too. So now I'm gonna encourage all the participants and all the attendees to ask all your questions addressed to the European Film Factory team, to Lucy or to Rafal, because we still have around 10 minutes to have a vivid Q&A. But I'm going to start with a question. For example, Rafal, if you could explain us or tell us a bit, what was the first I would like to know, what was the first impression your students had when you started to use this tool? And if the usage of European Film Factory has marked a before and after in the way you teach. Has this tool, has the platform changed the way you're teaching your students?
Of course, my students love the tool, really. They would like to play with finding moments and just to and building new stories, and they love to write new story, but they are of course based on that movie. They said that this tool is really approachable and it's really easy to use. I didn't have to explain for a long time, to be honest. It was much harder for me at the beginning, but for them it was really easy. It was really intuitive for them. So we used it like few times already, and all the time they were really happy. We already have some files saved, so we use it many times.
Thank you. And do you think you plan to keep on using the platform in the future?
Of course. You know, to be honest, I need more movies because because I think there's much more to upload there and to use during classes. But for me, it's really nice tool. I teach in a bilingual school, so we can use it in Polish and we can use it in English. So that's really important for us. And whenever I have some problem in curriculum and I need a movie, so I always use this platform. So it's really helpful.
Thank you very much for your answer. Well, you know we're on it. You know we're trying to get as many movies as possible, and I will encourage everyone to stay tuned to our social media and to our platform, because that's coming. I can't reveal any dates yet, but that's coming, Rafal. And let's hope this time it's not a love-hate relationship for you.
I hope so. I hope so.
And Lucy, from the perspective of the platform, what could you tell us about, for example, the benefits that you have observed in the use of mind maps and the use of this kind of tools in film literacy?
What can I say? That so the platform has been launched in September, so it's been 8 months now. So we are starting to see results out of it. And a part I really appreciated is to go and check the community creation on the platform, because you see that there are there's more and more creation of what teacher did with the film, and especially with the mind map, you see which input they can do with the film in their class, and how in-depth work they did with the film, and connecting films together. Connection we didn't necessarily think about. Like, for example, I know that on the platform there's a mind map which link Goodbye Lenin and Europa Europa. So I really encourage the users to go on to register on the platform first of all, of course, and to check the community creation, because you can really take, of course, the educational kit give you a lot of possibilities, but what other teachers did too are very interesting for your own work as a teacher.
Thank you very much, Lucy, for your answer. And I can see in the chat many people congratulating you, Rafal, and also congratulating you, Lucy, on the initiative, on the resources. I see some participants excited about the short movies. I will also encourage people to watch them, because it's a really, really nice selection. And as I said, we're trying to add as many as possible, so stay tuned. And another question, for example, for you, Rafal. A participant, an attendee, is asking, when do kids watch the film? Do you use your hours of school in class? Do they watch the whole film before? Do you do per extracts?
So it depends. This is, I think, the common answer. It depends. So it depends on, do I have a time or not, to be honest. If I have a film club, then I can watch it with my students, and it's not a problem, but it's extra classes. But if I don't have a film club and I wanted to use it, so most of the time I'm giving them as a homework just to watch it, and then we work on it, and it's kind of project. So this is the way, because the curriculum, it's a really big thing to implement by itself. So it's hard to put something extra, and I want to put something extra, so I need to find a way. So this is the way I'm doing most of the time.
I guess this is when creativity comes in place, right? When
yes,
curriculum
exactly.
when curriculum is a bit strict and curriculum differs from Poland to Spain to Greece to France, and if film literacy is not included and it doesn't have its own time and space, you just need to come up with. Yeah, it is indeed a pity. I think that's why we're here, because all of us, we think that it's a pity that film literacy doesn't have its own little corner there, because as I said in my presentation, it cannot be only taught what film literacy is, but can help to teach other subjects. So I assume, and I think many schools have started their own cine club to try to tackle this gap of not having the time and the hours to do so.
That's the only way.
Yeah, sure. And again, for you, Rafal, another question. So what was the reaction of your students? Were they engaged? Did they have trouble in getting into watching the movie and doing the activities? And did they like working this way?
At the beginning, I thought that maybe this movie is going to be challenging, because it's black and white, and sometimes when it's black and white, they think it's ancient, and they don't want to watch it. But at the beginning, from the beginning, they were really focused, and they said this is one of the saddest movie ever, and they worked really hard, especially because they were empathizing with Gelsomina, and they really hated Zampano. They said it's not fair. So when it came to building dialogues and recording those dialogues, the thoughts of Gelsomina was really matured. I was really shocked that my students were able to put that kind of thoughts in her mind, and that was really moving, to be honest. And that movie was really easy to work with.
Okay, so in the end, it ended up being easier than you thought, I guess.
Of course, sometimes there is a movie you think it's going to be really hard to talk about or to work with. And that movie, because the plot is really deep and everything is there emotional. So I thought it's going to be really hard to work on it. But it was really easy, like technical, because they were really engaged.
And in the end, sometimes the easier movies
Yeah.
or the movies that we thought they were easy and have
That's
causing
ironic, yeah.
troubles. Yeah, it's ironic. Yeah, that in the end you're like, okay, I thought it was simple, but
Exactly.
not really.
Yeah.
So thank you very much for that explanation. And I wish and I hope next year, next school year, your students keep as interested and as engaged with the new movies that we're gonna have.
I
And
hope so too.
yeah. So another question for Lucy. So someone is also asking us, how was the selection made? The selection of the movies that made it to the final cut of the platform.
Yeah, so the selection has been made. So we had a jury made of a professional of film education that picked the 10 feature films that are on the platform. So they picked this film from a list that we consolidated at the Institut Français, which we consolidated based on different criteria. Some criteria were given by the European Commission under which the project is built, which were like they wanted to have a European film from like patrimonial heritage film. So we decided to have film from 1950 till 2010. And they wanted to have films that show the diversity of European cinema and the diversity of topics, of genre. And so we did a very large panorama of European cinema, and then we shortened it based on also very technical criteria like the availability of the film, to have it available as much as possible in all the European territories. This is why on the platform some films are not sometimes available in some countries. It's something we try to avoid as much as possible, but it's we cannot sometimes have the film available in every country. So the jury selected this film, and it was really the idea of having 10 first films that give an idea of European cinema, and to build on this for the next edition that we'll have on the catalog. So then we added the two short film programs. So one is on environmental issues, and another short film program is dealing more with focusing on the European youth and in all its diversity. So it's more recent films, and but they can also be linked with the feature film of our catalog. And so we will continue to build on our catalog and to add new film, and as the project is going on, to have it the more diverse as possible.
Well, you took from me the next question I was gonna ask you, because I was gonna ask you, can you tell a bit about the new short films to the attendees? But I guess you already answered my question. So thank you very much for that, Lucy. And so you already explained us, Lucy, how the films were selected, how the new shorts were selected. Can we know a bit more about when new movies are coming to the platform, or is it still a secret, well hidden?
No, we can already let you know that there will be two new films that will be added in September. So after the summer break, there will be two new films. I will not reveal the titles as it is still unofficial, but there will be two new, and we will add then on regular basis new films.
Well, that's great to hear, I guess, for all the teachers that maybe there are some teachers that already used all the movies, so they know that are gonna have some new options for September. So thank you very much for that, Lucy. So we're reaching the end of our event. We still have some 3-4 minutes, and I wanted to ask also Rafal. Rafal and Lucy, both of you, obviously, feel free to reply to this question. How do you see the scenario of film literacy in Europe right now? How do you see it regarded as part of education, as not part of education? Because, as we said, not included in some curriculum. How do you see film literacy in Europe, and what do you think we can do, and projects like European Film Factory can do to promote its place?
Can I start? Yeah. Lucy, do you want to start? I can be second.
No, go on, Rafal, go on.
Go on, perfect.
I just want to say from a teacher's perspective that first of all, I think that we need to talk about other teachers just to show them that the platform exists and how easy it is and how helpful it is. And second of all, I think that the movies should be there should be a film education in a school, like a subject, like a different subject. It don't have to be just like literature 5 hours a week. It can be just 2 hours a week. But I think it's really important because nowadays students love to watch movies, love to watch series, so it's kind of ignorance just not to talk about that. And I think that literature and all the culture is connected with movies, so it's impossible not to talk. But first of all, I think we should engage more teachers and after that students as well. So
as you said, right, raising awareness about it, talking about it, and not let it just be taken to a corner, because it's an important subject to talk about. And
need to stop pretending that there are only books. Sorry.
Exactly.
And I'm a literature teacher, you know.
Completely right. There are not only books. Tell that to a youngster nowadays, or to a kid, that there are only books. And you will see what they tell you in the end. Lucy, do you want to add something?
Yes, definitely. One aim of our project, when we have written it down, is really to use this platform as a way to advocate on a European level on the importance of having film literacy in the school curriculum. The platform is available everywhere in Europe, but it's very different from one country to another, with how film literacy is included in school, if it is included, if it's carried on by national government, or if it's more carried on by local association. So it's very diverse, disparate from one country to another, but it's something that we want to build on and encourage the importance of film literacy in the classroom, especially nowadays, students are facing screen all the time. So film literacy is really necessary to carry on with other subjects in school.
Thank you very much, Lucy. And yes, as you said, we will keep on doing everything that is in our hands to promote this at a European level, and to try to reach as many teachers and students as possible. So we reached the end of our webinar today, but I will not want to go without asking Rafal and Lucy to give a final message or a final word to those teachers and who haven't registered yet to the platform. If you could have them in front of you, what would you tell them to register and to use the EFF platform? Rafal?
If you're looking for an easy tool to engage your students into movies and into culture, there's no better way just to sign in and just to use this platform. So you've got nothing to lose.
Thank you very much. And Lucy?
Yeah, I think Rafal said it all, but yes, it's very easy to register first. So go on the page and register, and just have a look at the platform, watch the film for yourself first, because it's always nice to discover new film, and then have a connection with your student and make them work on this very interesting film from Europe. And we are also building some other events around our project, which can interest you as a teacher. So we are also organizing masterclass, which is a way for your students to directly address the film directors or film professionals linked with our film. So follow us on our social media and on on the platform if you are interested in this kind of events to really use European Film Factory in a very dynamic way. Thank you.
Thank you to you both, and that's great that you just mentioned it right now, right? Like EFF does not only have the platform, but also webinars like this. We have webinars in national languages, and we're having the master classes, which are an asset for the teachers and the students. So please follow us on social media and keep an eye open on all the activities and new features that we're gonna bring you. So once again, thank you very much to everyone that attended today's session. Thank you to Lucy, thank you to Rafal, and thank you to Ina and the EFF team for being behind the stage and then making sure that everything works smoothly. So see you soon in another European Film Factory activity. And if you didn't have any plan for this weekend and it's raining, wherever you are, just don't forget to register to the platform and watch a nice European movie. See you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you both.
Thank you. Bye. Bye-bye.